Well, hi there, all you Sand Run Travel travelers. I guarantee you haven't been doing much traveling lately, but Reg and I are here to give you a little bit of an update for the month of May with respect to Sand Run Travel. And obviously, the first thing I have to do is identify the COVID-19 planning. And there is not much planning going on with COVID-19. We honestly have not been given any directions from the state as to when we can reopen, and when we can, how we will. The unfortunate part for us and you is that all of our trips that we had adjusted for, with the exception of the September cruise, are still on. The airlines have not canceled our flights. They've not given us a reprieve from any group reservations we have. Hotels are closed, but they still don't know when they're going to reopen. And the casinos are closed, and nobody knows when they're going to reopen. We hope they reopen the month of May, maybe into June. We hope people get comfortable with maybe traveling under the new guidelines. Until then, I can't tell you much other than try to show you some interesting locations that you'll be able to enjoy virtually, and then maybe join us when we do get a chance to go there. I will say that if you weren't aware, the wine tour that we had planned for the Poconos is still on for July 12th. More on that as it gets closer. And we are hoping to run a Sand Run Travel barbecue in June. We had originally planned it in July. We moved it up to June so we could run our wine tour. Now we're hoping by June we're allowed to put 50 people together. If not, and the wine tour gets canceled again, we might run the barbecue in July. So just stay up to date. I'll keep posting things on the website as maybe things change, and we can keep in touch, or tune in to our monthly broadcast. Now, this month we're going to experiment with, or we are experimenting with a new method. We're using Zoom so we can show you videos of great places we've visited in the past and will likely go back to in the future. So this show, we're going to discuss the Grand Canyon in Sedona, a location we went to last year, and we're extremely pleased with it. And while pictures don't always do it justice, we found some videos that we've been able to maneuver so that we can show them to you. And we're going to try that right now. So I'm going to share my screen and then show you the first video, which will be of the Grand Canyon. It's kind of a nice overview as we go through it. So here we go. We'll see how good I am at this. And here we go, flying over the Grand Canyon, the Colorado River, and at the bottom of it, and just enjoy the views as we come through here. And along the way, we'll take we'll make some commentaries. Reg, if you see a comment you want to make. The waterfalls and everything are something we don't generally see with our type of tour and our clientele, because I think you need to get down into the canyon to really take advantage of seeing the waterfalls. But these views are ones that are spectacular and that we regularly get a chance to see.
If you've never been to the Grand Canyon, this is one of those spectacular spots that you really do need to go to.
And we hope that little picture that we just showed of this night sky, the canyon does some very, very interesting things with astrology and sky watching in the evening. And the next time we go out, which we'll not sure is going to be 21 or 22, we hope to be able to incorporate that into our tour. These are some of the Anasazi ruins that, quite frankly, I was not aware were in the canyon itself. Um, Speaks to how long people have been visiting the canyon. Again, this is something we don't normally see, the snow caps on the canyon, because we go out in the summertime. But it's always spectacular. And this view to me is one of the things that really is just dramatic as anything. And that's our view of the Grand Canyon. And that's the way we're going to finish that up. And while I go get another uh, movie of Sedona, if Reg has any ideas on uh, on the canyon itself, we'll go ahead and let him talk a little bit while I'm going out to find a new video.
Well, one of the things you notice about the canyon is as the sun changes positions in the sky, the colors around the canyon changes, and so you can go out to the canyon a number of times, and every time you go, it's going to look different. Um, and those differences is what is the main draw that draws people back again and again. They also say it's one of the most photographed places, um, because every time you go out, you see something different, and you get a different feel while being there.
Great. That's a good commentary to add on there, Reg. It is, and we generally see it during the daytime, but the nighttime is spectacular. I now have a video of Sedona, which was a real surprise to some of us who had never been there, how gorgeous the Sedona area is. So we thought we'd have you take a look at this and realize that we were there in conjunction with our Grand Canyon tour last year. This is a natural swimming hole called Slide Rock area that's out in Sedona. We
It's
got a
not
chance to go up to it, but we did not participate in the sliding and the swimming.
Your pictures are not showing.
Really? Ah, okay. I'm sorry, folks. I'm sorry. I forgot to share it again. Now we doing?
Yes.
Okay, here we are coming through the Sedona area. Sorry about Slide Rock, but I tell you what, we'll go back here a little bit. As you remember, this is the first time we've ever done this, so I got to remember the sequence of events every time we come through. But we're back here at the Sedona area, and you're coming up on Slide Rock, which is a kind of a swimming hole type thing, but it's pretty darn spectacular. And what I do, not go far enough into it to show you Slide Rock.
Now
Well,
you didn't go back far enough.
well, folks, I'm sure you'll get a chance to see it if you come out with us again. These are the Red Rock Mountains, or topography that we have at Sedona, and it is just spectacular in its own way, as spectacular as the Grand Canyon, and in many ways more beautiful. Because as you saw with the canyon, a lot of times when you're looking at the canyon, you get much of a haze because of the sunlight that hangs over it, whereas you almost never get that type of feeling in the Sedona area.
Yeah, the scenery in Sedona was almost as spectacular as that of the canyon,
Yeah,
and more so in some other areas.
yeah, I think you're right, Reg. An incredible area, full of some things that are really mystical. As a matter of fact, I believe much of what I just am showing here is from a clip called "About the Mysticism of the Sedona Area." There's a strong belief that there's a huge magnetic force that causes an energy concentration here in the Sedona area. And as we talk through this, one of the things we will do when we go back is our hotel casino is located in the Sedona area. So some of these things that we're showing you are readily available for us. The topography, the scenery um, is going to be close at hand when we stay there. We aren't going to do this much of a marketing description, but I will tell you that as we get into planning another trip out to the Grand Canyon area, we will be staying at Cliff Castle again, and we'll talk more about that in future presentations. But I hope you all can see how spectacular this area is. Between the Grand Canyon and Sedona, there isn't too much left to behold, if you will, as far as getting some spectacular feel for what's available in the Arizona area. As Red just said, if this is someplace, if you haven't traveled the U.S. And seen some of these areas, we really encourage you to go. Hopefully it's with us, but whether or not you need to go to these areas to really fully appreciate what the United States really has to offer. And that's a little bit about how we do Sedona and what it looks like out in Sedona. Now, one of the things that we did notice in doing some of these videos is they're very scenic oriented and don't really give you an idea of some of the things that we managed to find as we did our tour. So I'm going to go out and grab a slideshow that we've put together. Won't take very long, maybe 10, 15 slides at the most. That maybe show you the highlights of what we maybe did. So Reg, it's all yours here while I go find that.
Well, Sedona, that area is just spectacular. The United States has a lot of things for you to see. There's a whole lot of people that have never seen things like the Grand Canyon or Niagara Falls or making it up to Alaska. And, traveling with San Run gives you an opportunity to do some things that you may have thought you never would be able to do. But the options are there. The time that you make to live life is the life you'll live.
I'm almost ready, Reg.
All right. Well, hey, he's still working on it, and we're gonna get this down. We're gonna get this down pat at some point, and we're gonna be good at this.
Yeah, the slideshow's taking a little bit longer to queue up than I thought it would.
Well, see, you didn't tell me how long I needed to come up with ad lib.
Okay, hang on here. Now we'll get back here. I'm coming back, and you cannot minimize Zoom when you're recording. Okay.
Okay, you got to
Uh,
share again.
yep, I'm going to do a share, folks. And here we go. Wait a minute. Did I get the share out there? No.
It's changing. Yes, it did change
Oh,
over.
it did change over. Okay. This is a picture of where we were in a place called Jerome, Arizona, and it's an extremely mountainous area. Was once a mining town, became a ghost town, got taken over by the hippies in the late '60s, and it's turned into kind of a Gatlinburg style arts and crafts area. And one of the things we spotted out there was a glass. Uh, a glass design, a glass sculpture, if you will, of an individual. And then this is some of the terrain as you go up, and you really go up into the Jerome area. And one of the highlights that we did have there was the fact that they have never seen it anywhere else before, an entire store of kaleidoscopes. And this happens to be one that you peer through the lens to see it. And what we thought was interesting is Pat and I had this taken. We actually had a picture taken while we were viewing through the kaleidoscope. And if you look very closely, you can see Pat and I in almost every frame here. I once used this on Facebook, but I really don't think it was effective. People didn't really realize what it was. Now, these are some of the pictures Reg took from the Grand Canyon, a little bit more stills, and you still get a chance to see the topography, the changing of the colors, and really the framing of a view from what you might actually see versus taking a drone over the canyon itself. So these were some of our favorites as we took a look at them. This was one of my favorites only because whoever was taking that picture, which might have been me, uh, ended up because of the way the sun hit it. I thought it was the beginning of OHIO for Ohio. So that was just, I don't know that it had any resonance other than that. It looks like there's a small uh, dry pond down there in the valley. And then this was another Grand Canyon. Really, you get a chance to see the haze caused by the direction of the sun while you're in it, but you also get a chance to see how vibrant the colors are in the front. Just more canyon.
Yeah, standing on the edge and taking a look down is not for the faint of heart. If you have a fear of heights, that is not the place to stand.
Now we talked about Sedona, and this is, I believe, a picture of the Madonna in the
In the chapel.
chapel at Sedona, which is really there for more mysticism and soulful prayer, where there's no services handled it there. But this is one of the spectacular views, spectacular points of interest in Sedona is this chapel. And I wish I knew more. I know I've got it hidden around in where we did about the person who developed the chapel. It was a lifelong dream to develop something in Sedona because of the mysticism around Sedona itself. So this is an area, and then this is a still from where we were as some of the peaks that you see and some of the rock formations. I believe I took this because Pat had been trying to get me to go to Sedona for a number of years, and she's just given me the thumbs up that I finally got people there. And inside the chapel, this was the cross that you worship at.
The chapel is also one of the places where they hold a lot of weddings.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. Yeah, I have to admit that it is would probably be well worth it to have your wedding there if you could. And then I believe this is actually leaving the grounds of the chapel as we left. For anyone, we stopped at a location called Tlacplacky um, uh, Mall. It's an outdoor mall in Sedona. It was one of the more spectacular malls I've ever been to. But while we were there, we happened to stumble on an actual gecko. I had never seen a gecko. I've seen enough of him on the Geico ads, but we saw this and I couldn't resist taking this picture. And then this is what the view of that particular shopping mall is. It's an outdoor mall. It's done in an old world Mediterranean style architecture. Lots of little cities or little streets and spectacular little restaurants to eat at. And as I would say, it's one of the few shopping areas Reg and I actually enjoyed going through. And it was a lot of local artists. Really a neat place, and I'm sure it's one that we'll go back to.
Very interesting place, and I'm not a shopper, and everyone that travels with us know that.
Yep, we know it, and even Reg and I enjoyed that. And then this was on our final day before we left. We went to a place called Montezuma's Castle, and these are actually pre-Anasazi cliff dwellings of a tribe, and I don't remember what they named the tribe. But they actually were gone by the time the Anasazi took over. So you can see where some of the influence on dwelling and living was for the Anasazi. And this is a mock-up of how one of those dwellings would have actually been. You can see the people that they've placed in it and the different levels that would have been developed. Pretty much in that as that previous screen would have shown you. And this is a place called Montezuma's Well. It's another place of worship for the ancient Anasazi, pre-Anasazi, because it's one of the few places of water out in the desert, and it's a huge area. It's absolutely beautiful and spectacular. So that's the end of our little presentation here. We hope that we've given you a really, really nice idea of what the Desert Southwest has to offer. And when we go back, we hope to see you join us. If not, we hope you take the time to go and explore a little bit further from yourself. Now, as we have on all of our shows, and this show, by the way, will be aired beginning this coming Monday on our Facebook channel. We will be recording it, and in the future, we hope maybe to have some of our travelers join us on these pre-recordings, as the use of Zoom makes it a little bit easier to deal with. So we're going to give away our drawing. So Reg told me we had 39 people really give him responses last month. So Reg, give me a number between 1 and 39.
23.
23. And the winner is Celeste Klopfenstein. I know you, Celeste. I hope you watch again. We look forward to having you join us once we fire back up. You will receive a $25 gift certificate from San Run Travel coming up very shortly. So until then, until next month, We hope you've enjoyed this. If you've got any ideas regarding it, let us know. But like I said, until that time, stay safe, and we hope to see you traveling real soon. Bye-bye.
Take care.